Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing you another action figure review. Today, we're going to be looking at the McFarlane DC Multiverse Arkham Knight from the video game Arkham Knight. Now in the video game, the Arkham Knight turned out to be Jason Todd, and he commanded a large militia. His plan was to take over Gotham City and take down the Batman. This is the second figure from the Arkham Knight video game that we've received, and this guy looks fantastic. This guy's in stock at GameStop. I ordered mine, and he shipped the same day. So let's go and check out the packaging. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane Toys, ages 12 plus, DC Multiverse, the Arkham Knight. Here he is in the package. He has a display stand, a collector's card, 2 smoke grenades, and a grapnel launcher. One side of the package, the Arkham Knight from Batman Arkham Knight. The other side simply says Arkham Knight. At the bottom, got a bunch of credits, and there is a barcode, in case that helps anybody. And on the back side, here's the Arkham Knight posed up. So with no further ado, let's open him up. And I did end up getting 2 of these figures, one of which to open and enjoy, and the other one to keep unopened in my complete Batman-related 6 and 7-inch unopened action figure collection. And here's the Arkham Knight, next to Arkham Knight's Batman. Looks to be 2 excellent action figures. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He does come with a collector's card, a display stand, 2 smoke grenades, and a grapnel launcher. I was kind of curious why he came with these accessories. Obviously, the Arkham rifle or pistols would be much more appropriate for this guy, but Warner Brothers has a no-gun mandate. Any officially licensed DC figures cannot come with guns. The Arkham Knight is no exception. It is not McFarlane's fault. I didn't recall him using a grapnel launcher or smoke grenades, but near the end of the game, when he took his helmet off and revealed he was Jason Todd to Batman, he did grapple away with a grapple that looked very similar to this. I don't recall him throwing any smoke grenades down, but he did fall off the grapple, and then, poof, smoke would appear and he'd be gone. I'll probably end up giving these accessories to Batman and using some Arkham gadgets. But before we take a look at those accessories, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So this is the Arkham Knight. Specifically, this is Jason Todd. Joker had captured him, Batman thought he was dead, and after the Joker tortured him for a long period of time, he ended up coming back as the Arkham Knight. Pretty much wanted to get his revenge on Batman for leaving him behind. Personally, I'm not going to use this as Jason Todd in my action figure collection. I have Red Hood for that. I'm going to use this as a brand new Batman Rogue, the Arkham Knight. Now after the game, they introduced the Arkham Knight into the comic continuity, and it wasn't Jason Todd. It was actually a female character named Astrid Arkham. She was the daughter of whichever Arkham was running Arkham Asylum at the time. She was raised near the inmates. She always perceived Batman as the enemy, mistreating all the criminals. Grew up to hate Batman. In the comics, she pretty much looked the same as Arkham Knight from the video game. So it's probably who I'm going to have be the Arkham Knight in my action figure collection. But she should double up very nicely as Jason Todd from the video game as well. That's just me personally. I want to fit him in to my modern Gotham City setup. So let's take a look. Start with his head. Always had sort of a Batman vibe. Got those ears there. The eyes look like they're sort of lit up. Helmet is all black, as I recall. It was sort of lit on top there. Blue, shiny. Got the Arkham Knight Militia logo on the shoulders. The front here. A little bit of red on the armor. Looks like double jointed elbows. Double jointed knees. Now just something seems a little bit lacking. I could be wrong, but I remember the Arkham Knight having more gray and red camo on his outfit. This seems just a little bland. A little too much black. Figure does look very nice. It just seems to be lacking some paint details. Got the grenades here, utility belt pouches. Pleased with this figure. Something's just a little bit off. Something's missing. And just a closer look at his face or helmet. It does look very nice. And I wanted to talk about his ankles for a second. My Arkham Knight's ankles are pretty loose. Now don't misunderstand me, he's not falling over anything, but the ankles are a little bit flimsy. really concerned with how he'll be months down the road. Now let's take a look at his accessories, and let's start off with the boring stuff. Here's his display stand. Typical McFarlane stand, black perfect circle, says DC on the bottom. It's got one peg for the pegals on his feet. Very thin, very basic. Now let's look at his collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of the Arkham Knight figure. The Arkham Knight from Batman Arkham Knight. On the back side, there is a description. If you want to read that, go ahead and pause now. Here's his grapnel launcher. It looks pretty much exactly like the one that Batman used in the games. It's got the claw at the top, the handle at the bottom. Here's Arkham Knight holding the grapnel launcher, and here's Batman holding it. I'd say it looks even better with him. Here are his smoke grenades. He has two of them. They're mostly in black here, a little bit of gray at the top and bottom. Here's the Arkham Knight holding and getting ready to throw his smoke grenade. And he can hold them both at the same time if you'd like. Now the accessories he should have come with would be the Arkham rifle and the two pistols. Now essentially, you're looking at just one gun in front of you. You could turn it into two pistols, and then you can connect them together to become the rifle. These are accessories that came with the DC Direct Arkham Knight figure, as well as the Red Hood Jason Todd figure. They're 7-inch scale, and they should work perfect for this McFarlane Arkham Knight. It should be noted that he does still have a trigger finger on his right hand. I imagine they were originally intending to give him a gun. Here's the Arkham Knight holding this rifle. Works perfect for this figure. And here he is holding the two pistols. Like I said, they're actually the same gun as the rifle. They would connect together. And just another look at him holding the two pistols. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at the figure, his accessories, and some other accessories you can use to enhance this guy, now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, he's standing at about 7.1 inches tall, which can translate to about 18 centimeters. Now let's check out his articulation. Starting with his head here, of course, it can rotate from side to side. It can look up about that far, down about that far, not too bad. Can tilt his head from one side to the other, giving him a good amount of personality. Shoulders, or ball joint, goes up about 90 degrees. Shoulder pad is soft, goes right up, no issue there. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. He has that McFarlane butterfly joint to his shoulder and chest area, just increasing range of motion. Bicep cut, which is hidden very nicely. Double jointed elbows, only go in this far. His armor here is sort of obstructing it. His wrist is ball in it. It can rotate, and it's going to be hinged as well. He's got ball joint in his torso, and it's hidden very nicely with this sort of overlay here. Rotate around, forward and back. Another ball joint in his waist. Rotate around, forward and back, giving him a very good range of motion in his torso, and that covers up a joint. Very nicely done. Legs only go out about this far, obstructed from his pouches on either side. Not a ball joint, but a similar type concept. Rotation is pretty much non-existent. Forward, about that far. Back, not much. Double jointed knees, they go all the way back. And his ankle here. Forward and back. Rotate, tilt, rock, and toe articulation. Now let's switch to a different street scene setup. Here's the Arkham Knight with his militia behind him. I have quite the custom Arkham Knight militia army. His followers have been just waiting for him. A closer look at the Arkham Knight. He's got his followers behind him, ready to plunge into war against Gotham. Of course, there's one man that'll stand against them all. Here's the Arkham Knight with Batman pinned down, about to shoot him in the face, just like a certain part of the game. And a closer, upshot image toward the Arkham Knight. Here's the Arkham Knight, taking his rightful place on my Arkham Knight shelf. Now let's check him out, next to some other action figures, starting off with some other Arkham Knight type figures. Now this is the one I was most curious about. Here he is next to the DC Direct Arkham Knight figure. It's a really nice figure, although his articulation is very limited. This new one moves way better and is slightly larger, but the paint job in the old one is much better than this McFarlane one. Look at all the red camo all over him, and that is game accurate. Which Arkham Knight figure do you guys think is better, McFarlane or DC Direct? Drop me a line in the comments below. It's a hard toss-up. One definitely does articulation way better, and the other one does a paint job better, so I'm going to have to say McFarlane. Then, next up the amazing Yamaguchi Arkham Knight. Here are all of my Arkham Knight figures. Now there's another one from Flame Toys, supposed to be about 7 inches tall, but I just don't really like the way that one looks. Now this next figure is not an Arkham Knight figure, but he damn sure looks similar. This is an armored Batman from Injustice 2. It was part of Mattel's DC Multiverse line. Here he is, next to McFarlane's DC Multiverse Arkham Knight Batman. Then, next to DC Direct's Arkham Knight Batman. He scales up pretty good with either one. A little better with the McFarlane version. Technically, this figure is also the Arkham Knight, but I put this guy on my Red Hood shelf. I also keep my amazing Yamaguchi variation on my Red Hood shelf, not with the Arkham Knight stuff. And although this guy is not the Arkham Knight, it's still Jason Todd from the Arkham Knight game, but this was later when he became Red Hood. Here's McFarlane's Arkham Knight, next to DC Direct's entire Arkham Knight collection. McFarlane will never release this many figures from Arkham Knight, and that's okay. At least they sort of fit in together. Now let's check them out, next to some other Jason Todd figures. While neither one of these figures is Jason Todd, here he is next to a couple of Mattel DC Universe Classics Dick Grayson Robin figures. These are two different variants. I always use the one on the left as Dick Grayson, and the one on the right as Jason Todd. Here's the Arkham Knight, next to all the different McFarlane Jason Todd figures they've made. And each and every one is a really nice figure. Then, next to all of my DC Direct and DC Collectibles Jason Todd figures, and here, with some Mattel Jason Todd figures, then, with a Mafex Jason Todd, and with my amazing Yamaguchi Jason Todd figures. Here's Arkham Knight, next to a custom Jason Todd in civilian attire, in both the 7-inch and the 6-inch scale. Here's the Arkham Knight, with all of his militia. Most of these are custom made, some are just substitutes, but I'm really happy and proud of the militia that I have for my Arkham Knight. Army building at its finest. Army building is my specialty. Here's the Arkham Knight, with Scarecrow and Deathstroke. All three of these guys were involved with the Arkham Militia. Scarecrow was really overseeing everything. Arkham Knight was working for him, or at least that's what he led Scarecrow to believe. And once the Arkham Knight was sort of out of the game, revealed as Jason Todd, Deathstroke took over running the Arkham Knight Militia for the end of the game. So, I imagine all three of these guys were working together behind the scenes throughout the game. Now let's check them out, next to some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, with the Arkham Knight Batman figure. This is the only other McFarlane figure they've made from the Arkham Knight so far, and I hope they keep expanding on the roster. Well, unless you count the all-gold Platinum Chase variant of the Arkham Knight Batman. Arkham Knight is not the only video game that McFarlane made figures from. Here's Arkham Knight, next to an Arkham Origins Deathstroke figure. Deathstroke was actually an Arkham Knight and wore pretty much the exact same outfit from Arkham Origins, so you could easily have Deathstroke here doubling up as an Arkham Knight Deathstroke. And now, next to McFarlane's Arkham Asylum figures, we also have Killer Croc coming in the near future. McFarlane also made figures from Injustice 2. Here's Arkham Knight with those characters, and for the upcoming Gotham Knights video game. Now let's check him out, next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, with a couple of Lex Luthor figures, then with Superboy Prime and the Birds of Prey Harley Quinn, and here with a couple of Lobo figures, then with a couple of Mortal Kombat 11 Joker figures, and here he is with Batman Beyond's Unmasked Batwoman and the Atomic Edition of Blight. Now, next to the Batman The Dark Knight Returns, Superman vs. Armored Batman 2-pack, here's Arkham Knight, with the Speed Force Flash from Zack Snyder's Justice League, and the Reverse Flash from DC's Rebirth comics. Then, next to Future State's Batman and Dark Detective, and here he is, with the Rebirth Batman and the Infinite Frontier Robin. Then, next to a couple of General Zod figures, and here he is, next to the Rebirth Martian Manhunter and the Lois and Clark Black Suit Superman. Then, with the Death of the Family Joker and the Justice League Endless Winter Aquaman. And here, with Ultraman and the Zernar Batman. Then, with the gold-labeled Todd McFarlane designed Wonder Woman and the all-gold Anti-Crisis Wonder Woman. And here he is, next to the Rebirth Wally West Flash and the Infinite Frontier Grifter. And now, with the TV Flash and Rebirth's Godspeed, here's Arkham Knight with a couple of McFarlane DC Mega figures, Swamp Thing and Clayface. Then, with the Batman 3 Joker's Wave. And here he is, with McFarlane's The Batman Collection. Then, with McFarlane's Batman The Dark Knight Returns, Collect-to-Build a Horse Wave. And finally, next to the Justice League Endless Winter, Collect-to-Build a Frost King Wave. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, to see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane figure, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the large action figure lines I collect, and work my way smaller. But first, let's check him out with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. Then, with some more McFarlane Toys, these are from different various video game properties. And now, with some Jack-specific wrestling figures. And here he is, next to some DST or Diamond Select toys. Then, next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And here, with some NECA figures. Then, with some Mattel wrestling figures. And now, with some Jazzwares AEW wrestlers. And here he is, next to some Mezco 112 collective figures. Then, next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And here, with some Mafex figures. Then, with some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, this is a very nice action figure. My complaints, his ankles are kind of loose. His paint job is kind of bland. Needs more red and gray camo. And then his lack of gun accessories. And that's not McFarlane's fault. Some idiot at Warner Brothers thinks that's a good idea. His articulation is very nice. Everything you'd expect from a McFarlane DC Multiverse figure. Accessories are good, not great. Sculpt and paint job are excellent. Well, paint's kind of bland. Now, rating this figure is kind of difficult. I'm really enjoying this guy. He moves good. His scale's nice. I want to give him an 8 out of 10. But the paint job, I think, is going to make him go down to a 7. It's a very nice figure, and it can be fixed. But the paint job is inaccurate to the game, and blander than DC Direct. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, add it to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.